All right. Gentlemen, good afternoon, and it is my pleasure to have this opportunity to interview both of you distinguished alumni. This is a part of living history, so I'm really, really excited about this. Yeah, now help me to gain a really good picture of the day-to-day life as a member of the Corps Cadets. Such things like code of conduct, code of honor, if you will, paint us a nice brush of the whole environment at the time. Charles?
Well, I remember getting up in the morning about 6:30. One of the dormitories I lived in, I think during my first couple of years, was off the main campus, and I don't remember the name of the site right now, but we used to have to catch a bus there and a bus back. So onto the bus, back to main campus, and assemble out front in formation.
That would have been in front of Old Main.
In front of Old Main, that's right. In formation, and the raising of the flag. And after that, marching into the cafeteria for breakfast. After breakfast, it was time for classes. And classes went throughout the day until about 4 in the afternoon. And then between about 4 and 6 was the opportunity for extracurricular activity. I remember trying to play some football, not very successfully, being a member of the Persian Rifles, and so that practice took place during that period of time after dinner, between 4 and 6. Mm-hmm. And I think those are the right hours. And after I guess about 6 o'clock, we would go back on the bus, or if you lived on campus here, back to your dormitory. You had a period of about maybe half hour to 45 minutes of free time, something like that, and then study hour. And you studied from, as I remember, about 7 until 10, and the lights out at 10 o'clock. So we probably studied until about 7 or 9:30, had about a half hour or so to prepare for the following day, get your shoes shined, get your clothes ready for the following day, and get cleaned up for bed, and then that was the end of it, bedtime.
Mm-hmm. Keith, thinking back on those days and reflecting on some of the things Charles was saying, fill in your perspective of what an average day looked like.
Yeah, that was an excellent summary by Charles, and the only thing that I would add to that, and Charles would have to correct me on, I think there was an exercise period around 5:30 in the morning behind Old Main, where we would do calisthenics and various exercises, and that I still remember that. And then we'd get into the day. I don't know, do you remember that, Charles, the exercise back in Old Main? Or you were in band company? I'm not sure.
I was in band company the last couple of years I was here,
okay.
Third, fourth, I think second, third, and fourth year. But I don't remember the exercises, unless I did it my first year and I just...
How about your reflections on the sounding of retreat and the cannon and?
Well, it was done from Old Main, and there was the bugler of the day, which came from band company, and there was a loudspeaker system that went throughout the dormitories. And the thing I remember most about that system, sometimes the guys would forget to turn off the mic, and you would hear some different things. But it was a system that, almost like a clock that would certainly wake you up. And in fact, it was, I dare say that even today, in my early hours of getting up, I still hear that bugle, and it's an automatic clock. I think, Charles, with the exception of the work, if you were working on campus, let's say in the chem lab or the library, during those hours that you had no class, you could either work in the library or do your chem lab cleanup, or in the biology lab. If you were a waiter, the waiter started like around 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what? It might have been only the waiters that were exercising, since we didn't have any formation, or our job was to go into the cafeteria, which was in the basement of Old Main, and set the tables up and get ready for the first meal, which was breakfast. And also, to get ready for the second meal, you'd have to be back in the cafeteria, let's say, if I recall, the noontime meal, you'd have to be back there at 11:30 to assist. And the same thing with dinner, you'd have to be back to set things up. And if there were special occasions, you would have the evening to set it up. So if you had work-study programs, there would be some flexibility in some of these hours. In fact, I think some of the people just took some of that work just to get out of the various formations. But it was quite a schedule, to get everything in one day. And there were some sleepless nights, especially during midterms and final exams. I recall, with lights out, I recall and me, I guess, and Charles, we had, we put a light on in a closet or something like that and do some additional studies. But it was quite a full day, let's put it that way.
We've touched on this somewhat, but the military, of course, always attempts to, develop esprit de corps. So I want to go back and explore the roommate thing again. Charles, did you always have a roommate?
No, I did not always have a roommate. I remember a young man that was from my same hometown, Oscar Edwards, when I was in prep school, that spent a year at Pennsylvania Military Prep School, and I think we were roommates for the year that he was there. There was also a young man by the name of Alan. I don't remember Alan's last name right now. He was from Philadelphia. I don't think Alan and I were roommates. No, I'm pretty sure Alan and I were not roommates. So I can only remember maybe having one roommate. Other than that, I was pretty much in my own room.
By choice or?
By assignment.
By assignment.
Mm-hmm.
You want to explore the assignment business again?
Well, I think it was a matter of assigning people to roommates and rooms where the administrating powers felt comfortable that things were not going to create a conflict, perhaps with those who were not used to living among others. And so I remember having a very small closet over one of the temporary buildings when I first became a part of band company that wasn't really a room. but they managed to get some furniture and a bed in there. And that was okay with me. I didn't have any problem with that. There may have been some other people who may not have had the experience of the association with an African American that may have felt uncomfortable with a roommate, and maybe that was the feeling of the administration at that time. So I think that's why there was that assignment of a separate room.
Keith, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think what Charles just said is a good summary again. And as we get farther from, the time that we attended PMC, and we understand the times that we lived in, we understand some things that took place. I think they were done very covertly, not very open. My first year, as I mentioned, in Old Main, I did not have a roommate. I had a private room, and my understanding, it was the room that Cecil D. DeMille stayed in, and I did see his ghost several times, quite frankly. But my room in my first year, quite frankly, was, I enjoyed it. In fact, I really didn't want to move, but they did move me out. Very interesting. In my second year through my sophomore through my senior year, my roommates were Don Wilson and Danny Lowrie. That's Laughery. I think Charles remembered them. They were waiters, and they were also in my same class. In fact, Dan graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering, and Don Wilson, who I see at all reunions, he graduated with a business administration degree. But we were waiters. We were in the same class year, and we were in the same room. What was interesting, again, going back to what Charles said, we had a very large room, and it was like adjacent to the room, there was almost like a walk-in closet, and I had the walk-in closet. However, again, it was privacy. I mean, I would close that door, and that was it. Whatever was going on during that period, I think it was very selectively, and it was done very covertly. Now, when the other black cadets started to come in, again, if I recall, I think they ended up with white roommates. Charles and I were never roommates because we had different core assignments, company assignments. And I don't think that we were ever in the same dormitory, if I recall. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah. However, we were in the same general discipline of studies, biology, so we would, catch each other in biology or chemistry class, and certainly on weekends. I think on weekends we tended to I tended to go where he went because, again, he knew everyone in Chester. And so the environment here, I think, as we get farther away and understood the 60s, we understand certain practices that went on.
Now, Charles, you were in band company.
Yes, I was. Okay.
And your assignment?
Yeah, I was in what was called the Waiters Company. And I got to go back because I'm remembering now. Because the exercises, I think, were for the waiters and the drills, just for the waiters. Like our day started at 5:30 in the morning. So Charles, I stand corrected on that. That particular exercise was for waiters because we did have a lot of what shall I say, food around us. So I think some of us needed the exercise. I certainly didn't. If you look at me now, I didn't need the exercise back then. But the waiters had their own companies. I might add that, you had the Persian Rifles, which Charles was in. This was a precision group. Then you had the Waiters Company, I'll tell you. They were a sad group of people on the side of the field. Obviously, I don't include myself in that group. But this was a special group, and we did everything that the that the Corps did. We didn't do it as much, but whatever went on, we did it.
Keith mentioned some drills, and coming to memory, there was a time of day that was spent where the companies got together and they drilled.
Yes.
Like the band would practice their particular routine, and the other infantry kind of companies would do their marching and practicing things that they had to do, or that particular routine. And I don't remember the exact time of day that took place, but there was an opportunity for that to occur.
Keith?
Yeah, the same what Charles just said. It came back now that there is a special day that was assigned, and where everyone would be on the drill field to have drills, including the waiters and people that did work on campus. And I think at that time, Charles, there were no academic work going on or classes going on.
Right.
By design. Yeah, everything had its schedule and place, yes.
Mm-hmm.